Good morning, all of you, my dear boys. Let us start our today's class. Today's concept is isomerism. And before going to explain this isomerism, first of all, I am going to explain that is a double bond equivalent. That is very, very important. That is required to explain this isomerism, boys. Okay. So first of all, we are going to discuss about double bond equivalent, which is also called as, see here, double bond equivalent, which is called as a DBE shortcut, or degree of unsaturation DU only. Degree of unsaturation or index of hydrogen deficiency. Index of hydrogen deficiency, that is IHD. All these are same, boys. So double bond equivalent or degree of unsaturation. So index of hydrogen deficiency. So what is this concept, sir? Let us take some examples, boys. See here. CH triple bond CH. Is this saturated compound or unsaturated compound? Presence of double bond or triple bond between carbon and carbon is nothing but an unsaturated compound. That is an unsaturated compound. So this required 4 hydrogens to convert CH3CH3. That means it is unsaturated compound. It is a saturated compound. That means there is a deficiency of 4 hydrogens for this unsaturated compound. So by gaining that 4 hydrogens, that is converted into a saturated compound. Next, let us take one more example. CH2 double bond CH2. CH2 double bond CH2, which is unsaturated compound, boys. This is absorbed 2 hydrogens, that gives CH3CH3, CH3CH3, which is saturated compound, boys. So here 2 hydrogens are required. That means here 2 hydrogens are deficient to convert into respect to saturated compounds. Here 4 hydrogens are required to convert that unsaturated compound into corresponding saturated compound. That means this is deficiency of, it has some deficiency. So 4 hydrogens are deficient. Here 2 hydrogens are deficient. 2 hydrogens are deficient. Okay. So therefore, degree of deficiency, index of deficiency. Therefore, degree of unsaturation DU, or double bond equivalence is equal to number of hydrogens by required by 2. That is here degree of unsaturation is equal to 4/2, that is equal to 2. Here degree of unsaturation is equal to 2/2, which is equal to 1. Therefore, degree of unsaturation is nothing but number of hydrogens required to convert the given unsaturated compound into a corresponding saturated compound by 2. Degree of unsaturation. Okay, so this is the way to calculate degree of unsaturation. Boys, 1 pi bond is equal to 1 degree of unsaturation. 1 pi bond is equal to 1 degree of unsaturation. Okay, boys. Degree of unsaturation means number of hydrogens required to convert that unsaturated compound into a saturated compound by 2. That means, see, boys, here degree of unsaturation is equal to 2 means it contains 2 pi bonds. 2 pi bonds is equal to 2 degree of unsaturation. 1 pi bond is equal to 1 degree of unsaturation. Therefore, number of pi bonds is equal to degree of unsaturation. Am I correct? So therefore, degree of unsaturation is calculated with the help of number of pi bonds. Number of pi bonds. Therefore, number of pi bonds is equal to degree of unsaturation. It is first condition, boys. It is first condition. So that means a given compound plus number of hydrogen atoms gives corresponding alkane. Alkane means saturated. Therefore, degree of unsaturation is equal to this number of hydrogens by 2, which is equal to number of pi bonds, which is equal to number of pi bonds. Now, let us take one more example. It is open chain compound. If I am taking ring compound, so see here. For example, it is cyclopropane. Formula 3 carbons C3, 6 hydrogens H6. But it takes 2 hydrogens to convert into corresponding alkane, boys. Open chain alkane C3H8. It is alkane. Therefore, it requires 2 hydrogens. It requires 2 hydrogens. Therefore, degree of unsaturation is equal to 2 by 2, which is equal to 1. 2 by 2, 1. So even though there is no pi bonds, that ring, how many rings are there? 1 ring ending. That is equal to number of rings. That is equal to number of rings. Therefore, finally, degree of unsaturation is equal to number of pi bonds plus number of rings. Number of pi bonds plus number of rings is equal to degree of unsaturation. It is a way to explain degree of unsaturation. That means the compound has something unsaturation. That unsaturation is due to shortage of hydrogen. That is which is called as index of deficiency of hydrogen. So that is due to the presence of pi bonds or rings. So pi bonds and rings creates unsaturation to the compound. So therefore, that is explained on the basis of like this. So therefore, degree of unsaturation or double bond equivalence or hydrogen, that is the index of hydrogen deficiency is equal to number of pi bonds plus number of rings. If structures are given to you, first of all, find out how many number of pi bonds and how many rings are there. So sum of all this is equal to degree of unsaturation. Let us discuss with some examples, guys. See here. See here, that is compound degree of unsaturation. Tell me the conditions, boys. See here, I am writing like this. How much is the degree of unsaturation for this compound? Tell me. How much is the degree of unsaturation for this compound? Boys, waiting for you. Yes, correct, Bashwant. Anush, correct. That means degree of unsaturation is equal to number of pi bonds plus number of rings ending. Number of pi bonds plus number of rings. Here 1 pi bond is there. Therefore, degree of unsaturation is equal to 1. Next. For this compound, how much degree of unsaturation? For this compound, how much degree of unsaturation? Yes, 1. 1 ring ending. 1 pi bond right here. Here 1 ring ending. Here 1 ring. Next. Tell me answer for this one. How much degree of unsaturation, boys? How much degree of unsaturation? Yes, correct. That is 3 ra. 1 ring plus 2 pi bonds. 1 ring plus 2 pi bonds. It is degree of unsaturation. Next, tell me for this answer. I'm writing this like this. Boys, what does it mean? So here carbon is there, here carbon is there, here carbon is there, here carbon is there, here carbon is there. This is the meaning, boys. Now, how much is the degree of unsaturation? So 1, 2, 3, 3 pi bonds. That is 3. That is 3 pi bonds. Here. Here 3 pi bonds. Next. Next. See here, boys. Benzene ring. Benzene ring. Degree of unsaturation. Yes, all of you correct. So 1 ring plus 3 pi bonds. So total 4. 1 ring plus 3 pi bonds. Therefore, total 4 and that is degree of unsaturation. That is degree of unsaturation. Boys, please be considered. If degree of unsaturation is equal to 3, means 3 pi bonds possible. That is a 2 pi bonds plus 1 ring possible. Next, 1 pi bond plus 2 rings possible, or 0 pi bonds plus 3 rings possible. All these are accepted. All these are accepted if degree of unsaturation is 3. If degree of unsaturation is 3, that means all these are possible. All these are possible. So if you know the degree of unsaturation, so whether the compound has ring structure or not, it is the way to identify whether the compound has ring structure or not. The degree of unsaturation is 2, means 2 pi bonds, or 1 pi bond plus 1 ring. 1 ring is possible. If degree of unsaturation is 1, if degree of unsaturation is 1, means is this contains a ring structure? Almost not possible. Or 1 ring may be possible depending on the situation. 1 ring or 1 pi bond is possible. So that means the possibility of ring structure is explained on the basis of this one. So ring means ring formation, minimum 3 carbons are required. For ring formation, minimum 3 carbons is required. For example, C2H4. C2H4. Its degree of unsaturation is 1 n. That means, is this open chain compound or ring compound? It contains 2 carbons. It contains 2 carbons. Ring structure is not possible. Ring structure is not possible means only open chain structure, that should be pi bonded. That degree of unsaturation due to pi bond, not with respect to ring. Not with respect to ring. So that means, so this degree of unsaturation gives an idea about whether the compound has ring or whether the compound has open chain. So all these we will explain more. So see here some more examples. Some more examples. If you know the structure, automatically you should count the number of rings plus number of pi bonds. That summation is equal to degree of unsaturation. So let us discuss some more examples, boys. See here. So its degree of unsaturation is equal to how much? Tell me. Its degree of unsaturation, yes, 1 pi bond. 1 pi bond, 1 degree of unsaturation, boys. Okay. Next. Next. Tell me the answer for this one. Its degree of unsaturation, tell me. Tell me the degree of unsaturation for this one. All of you wrong. All of you wrong, boys. All of you wrong. See here, I'm explaining. I'm explaining, boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 rings. All together a ring, single ring. So total degree of unsaturation is equal to 5. Total. So actually, it is not possible to calculate number of rings. That's why I'm going to take this formula. See here, how many carbons, boys? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 carbons. How many hydrogens in this? So see boys, it is the carbon. It is carbon. See here, this carbon bonded with 3 other carbon atoms. So therefore, one hydrogen is only available. Only one hydrogen is available. So therefore, one hydrogen means, so 6 carbons, 6 hydrogens, C3, C8H8 is the formula for this compound. So the corresponding alkane means C8H, Cn, H2n plus 2. So n is equal to 8, 16 plus 2, 18 is the corresponding alkane. Corresponding alkane is C8H8. Actually, the corresponding alkane is C8H18. Now, difference of hydrogens. So that means 10 hydrogens are required to convert this compound into this. Okay. Therefore, degree of hydrogen, that is unsaturation, is equal to 10 by 2, which is equal to 5. 10 by 2, which is equal to 5. Boys, is the concept clear? Now, for that cube, how much is the degree of unsaturation? Which is equal to 5, not 6, not 0. It is 5, and the degree of unsaturation for this cube is 5. Is the concept clear? So that is the number of hydrogens by 2 only. That is the number of hydrogens by 2, which is equal to degree of unsaturation. Okay. So it is not possible to count the number of rings in this case. So that's why I'm going to convert into formula. So formula corresponding alkane, difference of hydrogens I collected boys. That is the 10 hydrogens. So 10 by 5, 10 by 2, which is equal to 5. 5 is the degree of unsaturation. Next, see here, what is the degree of unsaturation for this one? How much is the degree of unsaturation for this case? How much is the degree of unsaturation for this case, boys? Wrong, wrong, wrong. First of all, count the number of carbon atoms. If ring is not possible to find out, convert into respect to formula. Convert that one into respect to formula. See here. See here. This is one ring. Boys, this is one ring. Next, this is another ring. This is another ring. 2 rings. 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, degree of unsaturation is 5. Degree of unsaturation is 5. It contains 2 rings plus 3 pi bonds. 2 rings plus 3 pi bonds. Okay. So degree of unsaturation. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Good boy. Next. What about its degree of unsaturation? What about its degree of unsaturation? Yes, 2, correct. 2 rings. 2 rings and 2 rings. Next. See here, boys. It is benzene ring. Benzene ring degree of unsaturation is 4 and COO minus. So let us see. This is benzene ring with C double bond O minus. C double bond O minus. So actually what we have to feel, so it is 4 plus 1, 5 end. But it is in resonance. It is in resonance. So it is going to this one, and that gives C double bond O minus, and C double bond O minus. Okay. So its degree of unsaturation is 5.5, boys. Its degree of unsaturation is 5.5. How, sir? See here. It is 4, up to now 4. It is 5, it is 6. That means here pi bond is available, here pi bond is available. But 2, it is taking as 1.5 and bond order 1.5. So that means 4 plus 1.5, which is equal to 5.5. Therefore, degree of unsaturation in this case is 5.5. 5.5. So very, very, very important. Because of resonance, these are 2 pi bonds are not considered as 2 pi bonds. It is taken as 1 plus half and 1 by 2. 1 and a half and. Therefore, 4 plus 1 and a half, 5.5. 5.5. Next, see here. HCOO minus. HCO, let us, Anush, see here. HCO minus. That means it is, I am writing as C double bond O minus. Actually, we feel this one as 1 end, but it is in resonance, boys. It is in resonance. That means this lone pair is here, this pi bond is here. It is in resonance. It is in resonance. That is HCO minus ion double bond O. That means pi bond is here and pi bond is here. So these two are identical, boys. But so 2 bonds are considered as half bond and 1 and a half because of resonance. Therefore, degree of unsaturation in this case is 1.5. Degree of unsaturation. That means whenever resonance is there, 2 pi bonds are taken as 1 plus half. 2 pi bonds are taken as 1 plus half. That is 1.5 is the answer. Similarly, here also it is 5. It is 5 plus it is 1 plus half. It is 4 plus 1 plus half. That is a 5.5 is the answer. 5.5 is the answer. Okay. See here, what is the answer for this one? Four Benjamin rings, boys. Okay. How much is the degree of unsaturation? How much is the degree of unsaturation here? Wrong. All of you wrong. Someone who is that? Only one is correct. Yes, Bashwat correct. Gaurav correct. Sharan wrong. Sharan wrong. See here, boys. Benjamin ring has 4, 16 plus additional ring ending. This ring. So that means 16 plus 1 17 is the answer. Degree of unsaturation is 17. Degree of unsaturation is 17. Okay. Next. See here, boys. COCH3. How much is the degree of unsaturation, boys? How much is the degree of unsaturation? COCH3 means I'm writing this one as C double bond O CH3. COCH3 means C double bond O CH3. Yes, good. Correct. Daksha, correct. Gaurav, wrong. See, boys, it is 1 ring. It is 2 rings. 1 ring. It is 1 It is 2 only. So 2 plus here 4. 2 plus 4. 6 plus 1 pi bond. So total degree of unsaturation is 7. Total degree of unsaturation is 7. Okay. Next, nitrogen. How much is the degree of unsaturation for that one? How much is the degree of unsaturation for that one? Yes, correct. Good. It is one ring. That is another ring. And answer is 2. And answer is 2. Like this, boys. If you know the structure, it is easy to find out how much is the degree of unsaturation. Instead of structure, only formula is given to you. Instead of structure, only formula is given to you. How to identify degree of unsaturation? See here. Okay. Double bond equivalence calculation using molecular formula. Double bond equivalence calculation, that is degree of unsaturation calculation using molecular formula. So boys, let us consider. So consider the formula of compounds as Cx times Hy times Cx Hy and Z times oxygen W times halogens, that is a 5 times pyra, so etc. So formula is like this. So it is the formula. How to find out the degree of unsaturation? So formula, note down. Degree of double bond equivalence or degree of unsaturation or index for hydrogen deficiency is equal to C, number of carbon atoms plus 1, minus H plus X minus N. H plus X minus N by 2. H plus X minus N by 2. So here C is the number of carbon atoms, H is the number of hydrogen atoms, X is the number of halogen atoms, and N is the number of nitrogen atoms. Okay. So C is equal to number of carbon atoms. H is equal to number of hydrogen atoms. Halogen is equal to number of halogen atoms. N is equal to number of nitrogen atoms. Nitrogen or phosphorus, boys, both have same valency. Nitrogen or phosphorus, both are taken. Oxygen, no need to consider, boys. No need of consideration. So this is the formula, boys. It is the formula to calculate degree of unsaturation. Okay. C plus 1 minus H plus X minus N by 2. Oxygen, no need to use. No need to use, boys. So that is the final formula. It is the formula. It is the formula used to calculate degree of unsaturation. See here, let us take an example. Boys. C3, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Its degree of unsaturation is equal to how much? Its degree of unsaturation is equal to how much? So tell me. So see here, 3 carbons there. That is, I am going to use 3 plus 1, 4 minus number of hydrogens 0 plus halogens 1. Boys, it is bromine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 halogen atoms minus nitrogen 0 by 2. That is a 4 minus 2, which is equal to 2 is the degree of unsaturation, boys. 2 is the degree of unsaturation. So, boys, what is this structure? I am trying to draw the structure. C3, that means C3. So between these 2 carbons, there is a pi bond. So fluorine, chlorine, bromine, it is iodine. Both these are same, boys. Both these are same. So if you know the structure, how much is the degree of unsaturation? See here, 2 pi bonds. So here, so degree of unsaturation is equal to 2. That means 2 pi bonds. So if you know the structure, answer is 2. If you know the formula, answer is also 2. Both these are same. Both these are same. Okay. So this is the way to find out degree of unsaturation when the formula is given to you. If you know the structure, identify pi bonds and also rings. Sum of that pi bonds and rings is equal to degree of unsaturation. If you know the formula, apply this formula. If you know the molecular formula, apply this formula to calculate degree of unsaturation. To calculate degree of unsaturation. See boys, let us take second one. C6H6 nothing but benzene. We know benzene has degree of unsaturation is equal to 4. We know benzene has degree of unsaturation 4. So apply formula for this C6H6. So that is, I'm using formula boys, 6 plus 1 minus, so first of all, number of hydrogens plus number of halogens 0, number of nitrogens 0 by 2. That is 7 minus 3 4. Answer is 4. 7 7 minus 3, answer is 4. Okay. So that means everything is the same end. If you know the formula, answer is calculate degree of unsaturation by using this formula. If you know the structure, find out number of pi bonds and number of rings. Number of pi bonds and number of rings. Okay. So boys, is the concept clear? Is the concept clear or not? How to find out degree of unsaturation for a given organic compound? Okay. So next we will discuss some more isomerism concept. Okay. Thank you. See here, boys. The concept is isomerism. Very, very important. Isomerism. What is isomerism, sir? In our organic chemistry, molecules, molecular formula sometimes may be equivalent, but their structures or their spatial elements are different. See here. For example, I'm taking a compound is like this. What is formula name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a pentane, boys. Formula C5H12. C5H12. So the same compound I'm writing like this. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C5H12 here also. Next, I'm writing like this. I'm writing like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here also C5H12. Here also C5H12. But all these are same or different, boys? Tell me. Molecular formula is the same. But the structural arrangements, it is pentane. It is isopentane. It is neopentane. Pentane, isopentane, neopentane. That means compounds are different, but molecular formula is same. So that phenomena is called as isomerism, and those collectively those compounds are called as isomers. So that means compounds having same molecular formula but differ in their physical and differ in their physical and chemical properties due to difference in their structural arrangements or spatial arrangements. That is called as isomerism, and those compounds are called as isomers. So see here, isomerism. In this isomerism, what are the conditions, boys? First of all, molecular formula same. Molecular formula same. Physical and chemical properties. different. Physical and chemical properties different due to differ in their structural arrangements or spatial arrangements of atoms or group of atoms. Atoms or group of atoms. The phenomenon is called as isomerism, and the compounds which exhibit this concept are called as isomers. So this is about isomerism, boys. So depending on the adjustments, all this isomerism is broadly divided into two types, because either structural arrangement is different or spatial arrangement is different. Because of its structural arrangement, the type of isomerism is called as structural isomerism. If it is spatial arrangement is different, that is called as spatial isomerism. Therefore, broadly, isomerism is divided into two types. One is the structural isomerism because of difference in their structures, and the other one is the spatial isomerism. And structure is not different, but spatial arrangement, that is a three-dimensional spatial arrangement, is different. So that's why. So broadly, isomerism is two types. Now, classification of isomerism. Classification of isomerism. So isomerism, broadly two types. Isomerism, broadly two types. One is structural or constitutional. Isomerism, structural or constitutional isomerism. Second one, spatial or stereoisomerism. So spatial or stereoisomerism, structural or constitutional isomerism, spatial or stereoisomerism. Okay. So now, depending on the adjustments, depending on the structures, what we observe, so all this structural isomerism is broadly divided into different categories. Boys, in this structural isomerism, if you write the names of the compounds, IUPAC names, all those IUPAC names are different. But here IUPAC names are same. Here IUPAC names are different. So these compounds have different IUPAC names. But here IUPAC names are same. These have same IUPAC names, but these have different IUPAC names. So later we will explain individually, boys. Please here. Now, this structural or constitutional isomerism is once again divided into different categories. One is chain isomerism. Second one is position isomerism. Next, functional isomerism. Next, metamerism. Next, ring chain isomerism. Next, tautomerism. Ring chain isomerism, tautomerism. So chain isomerism, position, functional, metamerism, ring chain isomerism, tautomerism. Okay, all these are due to different their structural arrangements, different types of isomers are possible. So all these are comes under structural isomerism. But spatial isomerism. So based on the situation, this spatial isomerism is broadly divided into two categories. Spatial isomerism broadly divided. One is configurational isomerism. And the second one is conformational isomerism. Configurational isomerism, and the second one is conformational isomerism. This configurational isomerism is once again divided into two types. This is divided into two types, boys. One is geometrical isomerism, and the second one is optical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism, and the second one is optical isomerism. So this is the different class of isomerism, boys. So all we are going to discuss today. I am restricted to this structural isomerism, except this tautomerism. Tautomerism we will discuss in another training. So except this tautomerism, today I am going to conclude all these 5 variety of structural isomers. Structural isomerism. Okay. So first of all, subheading structural isomerism. So structural isomerism. Isomerism. Definition for isomerism I am going to read. Boys, see here. Compounds having same molecular formula but differ in their physical and chemical properties. Due to difference in their structural arrangement or spatial arrangement of atoms or group of atoms. Because due to difference in their structural arrangement or spatial arrangement of atoms or group of atoms is called as isomerism. The phenomenon is called as isomerism. And the compounds are called as isomers. Okay. Boys, let us discuss structural isomerism. Structural isomerism. Here, once again, molecular formula same, but physical and chemical properties different due to difference in their structural arrangement. Structural arrangement is different. Because of that, IUPAC names are maybe different. Maybe, not maybe, it is completely different for compound to compound. Here, complete IUPAC names are different. See here, first one, chain isomerism. First one, chain isomerism. Boys, what is chain isomerism? So chain, that is the longest chain, nothing but parent chain, is different for different compounds having same molecular. So which is different? See here, boys. So first condition, molecular formula same, but longest chain or parent chain, longest chain or parent chain is different. Longest chain or parent chain is different. That isomerism is called as chain isomerism, boys. Molecular formula same. Here longest chain is different. So compound majorly, so mainly depending on longest chain, boys, that longest chain is going to be different. So different longest chain gives chain isomerism. Different functional group means functional isomerism. Different position of the functional group means positional isomerism. Where it is different, that is the name of the compound, name of the isomerism. Chain is different, chain isomerism. Position of the functional group or substituent is different, positional isomerism. Functional group is different, functional isomerism. Okay, so like this. So first of all, chain isomerism. Here longest chain is different. Longest chain is different. Let us take examples, boys. Examples. So first one, 5-member chain, 4-member chain, 3-member chain. Boys, 5-member chain, 4-member chain, 3-member chain. Longest chain is different. That means all these three collectively called as chain isomers. Chain isomers. See here, it is pentane. Pentane. IUPAC name. Next, it is 2-methyl. బ్యూటేన్ అండి, IUPAC నేమ్ అండి, 2-methyl butane. It is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2 dimethyl propane అండి, 2, 2 dimethyl propane. Therefore, IUPAC names are different, boys, but molecular formula is same. So not only here, everywhere, if it is a structural isomerism, no doubt compound to compound IUPAC names are same, different, but molecular formula are same. So structure is different. If structure is different, automatically name is different. Name is different. So this is first example, boys. So common name, it is IUPAC name, boys. Its common name, that is N-pentane. It is isopentane. It is neopentane. N-pentane, isopentane, neopentane. All these are chain isomers. All these are chain isomers. Second example. See here, it is open chain condition. So it is cyclohexane, 6 carbons. So methyl cyclopentane, 6 carbons. Ethyl cyclobutane, 6 carbons. 6 carbons. So propyl cyclopentane, propyl cyclopentane, it is also 6 carbons, boys. Number of carbons are different, but length of the ring is different. So 6-membered ring, 5-membered ring, 4-membered ring, but 3-membered ring. That means all these are chain isomers, boys. All these are chain isomers. Next, third one. See here. So 6-membered ring. I'm writing this one like this. Boys, is this chain isomers or not? See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 6. That means it is 5-membered ring. It is 6-membered ring. These two are chain isomers. These two are chain isomers. Next, see here, 6-membered ring, boy. It is a 6-membered ring. I'm writing 5-membered ring in with double bonds. 5-membered ring with double bonds. So these two are chain isomers. These two are chain isomers. That means number of carbons in the ring is different, automatically chain isomer. Okay. So this is about chain isomerism. This is about chain isomerism. Next, second subheading, positional isomerism. Second one, positional isomerism. See here, boys, very, very important condition. So first one, molecular formula same. Next, longest chain also same end. That is the longest chain or parent chain. Also same ending. Longest chain or parent chain is the same ending. Functional group or substituent also same ending. So if it contains functional group or substituent, whatever it may be, that is also same ending. But position of or location of functional group or substituent or locant is different. But position of functional group, substituent or locant, whatever it may be, both are same, boys. So that is different wise. That means the position is different. That is why it is called as positional isomerism. Everything is same. Position is different. That is why it is called as positional isomerism. See here some examples. Examples. So that is here I'm giving this. These are the two chlorines. So 2,3-dichlorobutane. Longest chain is 4 carbon chain. Here also longest chain is 4 carbon chain. So I'm giving 2 chlorines here and 2 chlorines here. So that means it is 1,2-dichlorobutane. I'm giving 2 chlorines like this. 1,1-dichlorobutane. 1,1-dichlorobutane. I'm giving 2 chlorines like this. 2,2-dichlorobutane. All these are 4 carbon chain, boys. Longest chain same. Substituents both are chlorine. Substituents same. Okay, but position of the substituents are different. Position of the substituents are there. That's why all these are considered as positional isomers. All these are positional isomers. So these are vicinal dihalides. These are vicinal dihalides. This is gem dihalides. This is gem dihalides. And gem dihalides means 2 halogens at the same carbon. Vicinal means 2 halogens at the adjacent carbons. So these first 2 are vicinal dihalides. Second 2 are gem dihalides. But all these are positional isomers. Gem dihalides and vicinal dihalides are examples to positional isomers. So these are vicinal dihalides. These 2 are gem dihalides. So all are positional isomers. All are positional isomers. Okay, next it is first example. Second example. See here, instead of chlorine, I am taking cyanide. See here, I am taking which is better. So OHN, adjacent carbons OHN. Diols, vicinal diols. One OH is 2 OHN. 1,3-diols. 1,3-diols. Boys, here also 1 chloro, 3 chloride. This is also positional. Like this, these are also diols, boys. This is also positional isomerism. Next, third category. Third example. I'm taking double bond here. 1 butene. I'm taking the second double bond here and 2 butene. Boys, if you write like this, it is also still 1 butene. This one and this one are same. That is why only 2 structures are 2 positional isomers are possible. Only 2 positional isomers are possible. Okay, next, fourth one. It is at second position keto group. At third position keto group. These 2 are position isomers. These 2 are position of the functional group is different. Position of the functional group is different. Your substituent is different. Your position of the functional groups are different. So that means here position or locant of functional group or substituent or locant or double bond also. Please consider it. Double bond or triple bond. All these are comes under functional groups wise. Everything is different. So this is about positional isomerism. Okay. So let us find out whether the given example is a chain isomerism or positional isomerism. Please give your information, boys, for my examples. Okay. So that is some applications. See here, boys. Question ra. Check whether chain or positional isomers, whether the following examples as positional or chain isomers. So just please give your information, boys. I'm giving one example. Is this positional or chain? Tell me the answer. First one, ra. OH. Not don't take OH. I'm taking this one as a cyanide. CNN. This is what type? Either chain or position. Just C or P. Tell me the answer. So give your information. Please wait. Second one. Second one. COOH. COOH. CHO. CHO. ME. Ethyl. ME means methyl ra. ET means ethyl ra. Yes, please wait. ME means with methyl, ET means ethyl ra. I'm taking BrClHH and ME ET ra. Here Cl, here Br, H and H. Here Br. Okay. Tell me, boys. First one. Is this chain or function? Is this chain or positional? My answer is chain isomerism. See here. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbon chain. 2-methyl is the name of this compound. 2-methyl butane nitrile. 2-methyl butane nitrile. Here it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a 4-member chain. It is 5-member chain. So longest chain is different. Therefore, chain isomerism. See here also. Here also it is a 4-member chain. It is a 5-member chain. Chain isomerism. This is also same chain isomerism. That is also chain isomerism. What about this? What about this? Here chain is the same ending, but BrCl positions are different. This is a positional isomerism. This is a positional isomerism. Next. It is double bond over. Double bond over. Fourth one. Fifth one. It is fifth one. It is sixth one. Sixth one. Seventh one. Eighth one. Tell me, boys, what about this fifth one? What about this fifth one? Yes. Here substituent is come to like this, and so therefore it is a positional isomerism. It is a positional isomerism. Now what about this position? Yes. So here chlorine is at first carbon, but it is first carbon, it is second carbon. So therefore it is also positional. It is also position. Next, what about this? Yes, here 6-member chain, here 5-member chain. 5-member, here 6-member ring, 5-member ring. So longest chain is different. It is a chain isomerism, boys. It is a chain isomerism. Longest chain is different. No. Yes, it is. I will explain. Is this chain or position? I will explain. Please wait. Roughly, it is first of all chain. It is chain. Here 6-member ring, here 5-member ring. So only chain isomerism. Only. So longest chain is different. Next, what about this? See here, boys. As per our IUPAC system, this is benzene. So 1, 2, 3. So that is bromo comes first. 1, 2, 3. So this is 1, 2, 3 N. This is 1, 2, 3 N. Tell me, boys. It is 1 bromo 3 chlorobenzene. 1 bromo 3 chlorobenzene. 1 bromo 3 chlorobenzene. All these are same, identical end. Same end. Nothing but homomers. Similar. All these are similar, homomers. Okay, same end. Next, what about this? Yes, position is changed. That's why it is a positional isomerism. That is why it is a positional isomerism. So like this, so we can identify whether the compound is positional isomerism or chain isomerism. It is easy to find out, boys. It is easy to find out. Okay. So next subheading, functional group isomerism. Next one, functional group isomerism. Third category. Functional group isomerism. See, boys, here molecular formula same, no doubt, but functional group is different. Functional group is, in previous case, functional group is there, but functional group is same, but position of functional group is different. In previous, that is positional isomerism, boys. Here functional group is there, but functional groups are different. Molecular formula same, but different functional groups. Let us take chain, everything is different in, no doubt. No need of chain. So no need of identification of chain, whether the chain is same or different. So functional group is different, automatically it is functionalized. Whatever it is others. If functional group is different, that should be functionalized. See here. So let us identify the conditions. So examples. Examples. See here. It is cyclopropane. Formula C3H6. Next, it is propene ending. Propene. It is also C3H6. Molecular formula same, but it is a cyclic compound. It is open chain compound. So that means here cyclic. It is the one of the functional groups. It is double bond is another functional group. Therefore, cycloalkanes. Therefore, cycloalkanes and alkenes are functional group isomers. Functional isomers are functional group isomers. Cycloalkanes and alkenes are functional group isomers. Second example. That is, see here, 1,3-butadiene. 1,3-butadiene. That is a diene. 1,3-butadiene. Next, see here, iron and alkyne. So diene and alkyne are functional group isomers. Both have same formula. Diene and alkyne are functional group isomers. Next, third one. OH. It is alcohol. It is alcohol, boys. It is alcohol. Next, I'm writing this one as like this. It is ether. Alcohols and ethers are functional isomers. Boys, see here, CH3, CH2OH and E. It is ethyl alcohol. It is CH3OCH3. It is dimethyl ether and it is common name, boys, but it is methoxy methane is the IUPAC name, and it is ethanol is the IUPAC name. It is common name. See here. So see, both have same formula, but it is alcohol functional group. It is ether functional group. Therefore, alcohol and ether are functional isomers. What is the functional isomer of ethyl alcohol? That is dimethyl ether or methoxymethane. Dimethyl ether or methoxymethane is the functional isomer of ethyl alcohol. Twice, alcohols are changed to ethers, ethers are changed to alcohols. Both alcohols and ethers are functional isomers. Next, some more examples. Next, fourth one. CH3, CH2, COOH. It is carboxylic acid. I am writing this one with the same formula. CH3, COO, CH3. It is methyl ANOAT. Methyl ethanoate. It is ester end. So ester and carboxylic acid are functional isomers. Ester and esters are converted into carboxylic acids are converted into esters. Next. CH3, CH2, CH4. It is aldehyde, boys. Aldehydes. So I'm writing with the same formula. CH3, CO, CH3. It is ketone end. Aldehydes are converted into ketone. Ketone is converted into aldehyde. Aldehydes and ketones are functional isomers because here functional group is aldehydes. Here functional group is ketone. Aldehyde and ketone are functional group isomers. Are functional isomers. Next, only interconversion between these two is possible and no other is coming out. Between these two only possible. Next, see here, boys. Here ketone. I'm writing this one as see here CH2 double bond CH CH2OH. CH2 double bond CH CH2. See here, boys, formula C3 3 plus 2 plus 1 H6 OR. Here C3 H6 OR. Here C3 2 3 4 5 6 H6 OR. Okay, it is aldehyde, it is ketone, it is ene plus O-end. So enolend. So that means ene plus OL. Enolic compound. This is also all these together, three together are considered as functional group isomers. All these three together considered as functional group isomers. Okay, so it is actually allyl alcohol because CH3, CH, CH2. This group is called as allyl. Allyl alcohol. Allyl alcohol. So that means ene plus O, OH. So enol antamani. So generally, not particularly. So it is ene plus O. That is also considered as functional group is different. So that means aldehydes, ketones, ene plus O. That combination, everything is functional because functional groups are different. Functional groups are different. Next, sixth one. That is, what is that? Cyanides and isocyanides. That is CH3Cl. It is a cyanide, boys. CH3N. It is isocyanide. Cyanide and isocyanide. These are the functional isomers. Cyanides convert into isocyanides. Isocyanides are converted into cyanides. Next, that is, see here, benzene connected with OH, phenol. Benzene connected with OH, that is CH3, 2-methylphenolanic. So it is CH2OH. CH2OH. See here, it is a phenolic compound. It is, see, what is the name of this group? Benzylic. So that means phenolic group is changed to benzylic group. These two are functional isomers, boys. These two are functional isomers. Okay. So next, eighth one. Primary, secondary, and tertiary amines are functional group isomers. Primary, secondary, tertiary amines together are considered as functional group isomers. See here. So 3 carbons with NH2, primary amine. NH, secondary amine. It is a tertiary amine. Primary amines, secondary amines, tertiary amines are collectively considered as functional group isomers. Functional group isomers. Next, ninth one. That is SO3H, sulfonic acid. Sulfonic acid. It is SO3 conditional. It is ester end. It is sulfonic acid, sulfonic ester end. Sulfonic ester. Examples, boys, see here. I am writing CH3, SO3. I am writing CH3, CH2, SO3H, and CH3, SO3, CH3. So example for this one. Both are same. It is structured formula, it is a bond line formula. That's enough. So both are same. It is sulfonic acid, it is sulfonic ester. Both these are functional isomers, boys. That means in all these cases, every pair of compounds, functional group is different. That is why those are called as functional group isomers. Functional group isomers. So one is interconverted to another. No other class of compounds comes under this category, boys. Aldehydes, ketones, acids, esters, cyanides, isocyanides, primary, secondary, tertiary amines. Okay, like this only possible. Like this, ethers, thioethers and thioalcohols. Next, 10th one, that is SH, SN. It is thiol and thioether. Thiol and thioether. That is also functional isomers. All these are functional isomers. One is converted to another. Between those two only possible. No other is interconverted, boys. No other is interconverted. So this is about functional isomerism. Functional isomerism. Next class of compounds, that is ring chain isomerism. Next isomerism, ring chain isomerism. In this case, actual total functional group is changed, boys. That's why it is called as functional group isomerism. Ring chain isomerism. See, boys, in this case, one compound has open chain structure and other compounds has a ring structure or cyclic chain. That is, open chain is converted into cyclic chain is converted into open chain. So that means ring compounds are converted into open chain compounds are converted into ring compounds. So but molecular formula is same. Here also molecular formula same and otherwise these are not considered isomerism. Molecular formula same, but one compound has open chain structure, another compound has ring structure, and that concept is called as ring chain isomerism. See here examples now. It is alkene, open chain structure. Cyclobutane, okay, it is open chain ring end, open chain ring. That is why ring chain isomerism. These two are considered as ring chain isomers. Next, second example. So cyclo, that is 1,3-butadiene. It is a ring chain isomerism. Ring chain isomerism. Next one. Boys, what does this mean? What does it mean? This is carbon, this is carbon, this is carbon, this is carbon. Total 4 carbons, boys. It's mean. Okay. And so having same structure, same formula. These two are open chain ring structure. Open chain ring structure. Next. C double bond ring end. It is open chain, it is ring end. Okay. So it is ketone. I am taking aldehyde also. One, two, three. I'm taking one more, 4. 4 carbons. Okay. 4 carbons. 4 carbons. Okay. So these are ring chain conditions. Ring chain conditions. So all these are, one is ring compound, another one is open chain compound. So that is the type of isomerism is called as ring chain isomerism. Boys, please note down this point. Note down this point. That is OH. It is epoxy component. This epoxy group is substituted, not a ring. It is a substituent, not a ring. Not a ring. So this one and this one and this one. Okay. It is not ring chain isomerism. Therefore, this combination not a ring chain isomerism. So very, very important. It is epoxy component or so it is epoxy compound, boys. This epoxy group is just a substitute. Oxygen is substituted at first, second, third. So 2,3 epoxy and it is 2,3 epoxy propanol. 2,3 epoxy propanol. It is just substituted. Oxygen is substituted at second and third position. So it is just substituted. It is not ring, boys. So that's why it is not considered as ring chain isomerism. Not ring chain isomerism. Very, very, very important. Okay. So this is about ring chain condition, boys. Ring chain. That means one compound is in ring, another compound is in open chain, but molecular formula is the same. That is ring chain isomerism. Because of that difference, so physical and chemical properties may be different. Next one, that is tautomerism. Okay, metamerism, not tautomerism. It is metamerism. Good, thank you. Metamerism. What is this metamerism? Very important, boys. See here. First one, molecular formula same. Functional group also same. Boys, this functional group must be a polyvalent functional group. That means more than one valence is available. That is called as polyvalent, or which is also called as bridge functional group, boys. So that functional group is also considered as bridge functional group. So that functional group must be a polyvalent. I will explain, please wait. Next, but attached alkyl groups to functional group are different. But attached alkyl groups to the functional group are different. So that isomerism is called as metamerism, and those compounds are called as metamers. So see here, what is that? There is a polyfunctional or bridge functional groups. See here, boys. That is OH. It is a functional group, but only with one free valency, boys. It is monovalent. Next, SH monovalent. CH4 only one free valence. It is only continuous standing. So next, COOH monovalent. Like this, all these are monovalent functional groups. Not exhibit metamerism. Not exhibit metamerism, boys. So single valency are there. That's why all these are monovalent. Not exhibit metamerism. But what is a polyvalent? Polyvalent means, see here, OO, two valency is there. It is a divalent. Yes. That is yes ending. It is a thioether, divalent. C double bond O, divalent. Next, NH, secondary amine, divalent. Boys, here alkyl group attached to oxygen. Alkyl group attached to sulfur. That means all these are symmetrical bridged functional groups. Next, exhibit metamerism. Next, one more. See here, what is that? COO. Here, one alkyl group carbon, another alkyl group oxygen. So that is why it is unsymmetrical. Next, SO2. It is another one end. SO3. It is another end. These are unsymmetrical. Bridged functional groups exhibit metamerism. That means these are not exhibit metamerism. This one and this one are exhibit metamerism. So monovalent. That means attached alkyl groups are different. Means at least two alkyl groups are attached. At least two alkyl groups means so minimum two free valency exhibits by that functional group should be required, boys. That is why. So polyvalent functional groups only gives this metamerism, boys. So I'm writing here divalent, and that is it is NRA. It is a trivalent functional group, and so this one also exhibit metamerism. It is a tertiary amine, boys. A trivalent functional group, and so this one also exhibits. So trivalent functional group, this one also exhibits. So metamerism, boys. That means except monovalent functional groups, remaining all are exhibit metamerism. So let us discuss one by one with an examples. See here. See, boys, examples. Metamerism. Examples. One. Diethyl either. Ethyl and ethylene. Next. Ethyl and propyl. Ethyl and propyl. Sorry, methyl and propyl. It is methyl and isopropyl. Methyl and isopropyl. All these three are boys. So ethyl, ethyl. Methyl, propyl. Functional group is different, but attached alkyl groups are different. It is methyl and it is isopropyl. That means all these three are collectively called as metamers. Metamers. Next, second example. See here. It is double bond. Okay. It is a triple double bond. It is methyl, it is propyl. It is ethyl, it is ethyl. Okay, these two are metamers, boys. So this is functional group. This is functional group. Functional group attached alkyl groups are different. Functional group attached alkyl groups are different, boys. So the same example already we explained at the time of position isomerism also. Sir, this example in particular either position isomerism or metamerism. Tell me, sir. See here. So that is so it is these two are A also exhibit position isomerism. Position isomers, and B, that is what is that? Metamers. Metamers. Sir, which one is correct? Sir, which one is correct? This is my question, boys. Is A are correct, A correct or B correct? Both A and B are correct. So it is very, very important, boys. So for this question, first question, if only one option correct, that means the question is only one option is correct. So these are metamers, because metamers are more predominant, dominates position isomers, more priority, and metamers have more priority than position isomers. Therefore, if only one option is correct, answer is BA. Answer is BA. If multi-option question, answer is both A and B is the answer. So depend on the question, boys. So if it is a single option correct, therefore metamers is the answer. If multi-option, that is both A and B are possible. So that means, so these are positional isomers as well as metamers. Among these two, which one is more prior? Metamers are more prior. That is a single option question. Answer is metamers. Even though positional isomers is given to you, only metamers is the answer. Only metamers is the answer. Okay. So this is very, very important, boys. This is very, very important. So because priority, so metamers are more prior than positional isomers. So priority of the isomers. Priority of the isomers. So later I will give the priority, which one is comes first. So see here. Next, boys, third one. That is, see here. What about these two boys? So these are metamers or positional isomers or particularly tautomers. So that is which one is correct? See here, it is methyl, it is ethyl. It is methyl, it is ethyl. Both are same boys. These are same. These are same. Okay? Yes. Homomers and not isomers. Not isomers, homomers. So like this number of examples, guys. Like this number of examples. So all these are very, very important. All these are very, very important. Okay. So some note points, boys. Some note points. See here. Note points. What is that note point? So use the following. Note down. Use the following. Priority order, preference order. Use the following preference order. In case of multiple type of isomers, in case of multiple types of isomers are possible. So that means just like in previous case, is this monomer, that is a positional isomers or metamers? Metamers is the final answer if it is a single option. So why, sir? Because of priority condition. So see here, first one, R means ring chain isomers are more priority. Greater than T means tautomers and greater than F functional group isomers greater than metamers greater than chain isomers greater than positional isomers and chain isomers greater than positional isomers, chain isomers greater than positional isomers. This is the order of priority. That is very, very important. Preference order of atomers. That means if position and metamers are coming out, if it is a single option, metamers is the answer, not positional isomers. If multiple answers, so no doubt both metamers and positional isomers are considered, boys. Okay, so this is the order of preference of different isomers, boys. So this is about structural isomerism. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss some more examples, boys. How many counting of number of isomers altogether tomorrow we will discuss. So right now I'm going to close this topic here. Thank you, boys.